Well, Hungary is now asking Germany to clarify the legal situation with respect to travel by illegal migrants within the European Union. And joining me now from Budapest by phone is Zoltán Kovacs. He is the Hungarian government spokesperson. Mr. Kovacs, thank you for joining us. Your government, as you know, has come under fire for your treatment of refugees, particularly as regards the razor wire fence you've built, as well as the tear gas that's been used. Do you think Hungary has handled this crisis as humanely as possible?
We are doing our best and providing all and everything that is required by European and international law to illegal migrants. Now, the problem is not that aspect of dealing with the mass migration that we face, but all the legal challenges, the legal uncertainties that arise if not every country is taking care in the same manner of the duties it should be taken care of.
That's true. I want to ask about the legal details in a second, but first of all, Hungary has basically refused to take any migrants in contrast to many of its EU counterparts. How do you justify that?
Well, that's not the case. What we rejected is the compulsory quota that would have distributed 60,000 people around Europe. There has always been, and there's always going to be, a legal means and ways to come to Hungary as a refugee. We, every year, take a couple of hundreds of people who wanted to come to Hungary. But the problem is that a compulsory quota would be distributing people who arrive or wanted to go to different countries within the European Union. So we believe that that would be both by principle and in practical terms unfeasible.
Then what do you want to see change as regards Schengen visa rules, as well as EU law stating that Hungary must register all asylum seekers?
You are right, and that's one fundamental problem. If we are required to follow all European protocols and rules, then law and order should be reestablished at the borders of Europe. Our borders with Serbia are also the borders of the Schengen zone. Within the Schengen zones, there are fundamental freedoms provided for European citizens, and the flood of illegal migrants would endanger those fundamental freedoms. So again, it is said to reflect the actual situation on the ground. Whatever they think and whatever they're being told for migrants, it is impossible to move from Hungary to another country without valid papers, documents. So you have to have a visa, a valid documentation where you are from. Obviously, since these illegal migrants are usually coming without papers, it is very, very difficult to establish identity.
So how confident are you that Europe can construct a unified and effective response to this crisis?
We believe that that's the only practical way of solving what we are facing. But obviously, we don't have time to wait for European decisions to handle it. If we don't do anything, that is, don't step up in building a security fence, reinforce the police and border patrol capabilities and the legal environment, our projections show that, let alone through Hungary, we could have reached 300,000 people by the end of this year. As of today, we have received over 150,000 illegal migrants.
Now, is this why, in part, you and other Central European governments have called for a separate crisis meeting this weekend?
That's right. Personnel on the ground and authorities are basically in a continuous cooperation for the past couple of weeks and months. But it cannot be avoided that on a ministerial level and hopefully in the near future on the level of the highest political making body, that is the Council, new and swift resolutions are needed.